Welcome back, everyone, to the Soft Talk Hard Truths podcast, where healing is quiet, honesty is gentle, and growth is non-negotiable. I am your co-host, Jay.
I am Shay. How's everybody doing this week?
Yes. Hope y'all all doing good. How you doing, Shay?
I'm doing good. You know, this been a couple rough weeks. It's been cold. It's been snowy, icy. You know, blisteringly cold. I went out the other day. I was like, wow. Okay, so I knew it was cold, but I didn't realize it was that cold. And the snow is going nowhere.
Yeah, it's excuse me. I think it's like 18 right now.
Yeah.
It's warmed up to 18.
Yeah. I was gonna say that's warm. I think it was 3.
Yes,
when I first woke up this morning, it said 3.
Nice balmy 18-degree weather we're having.
Yeah, for sure.
But you're right. Like it's been a few years since I've seen the amount of snow that we've gotten. I'm up here in New England. They get some snow. I think it was at least like 3 feet.
Yeah.
And trying to shovel that was not fun. But I definitely remember my training. Lift with, you don't lift with your back, lift with your knees, lift with your legs, rather. And I was in and out.
Okay.
Yeah. My neighbors are a little bit lazy because they they have like the back half of the house, and they have like these stairs, side stairs that they use. They apparently decided not to shovel that.
Okay.
And it's their week to take the trash out. And like the path from the trash cans to the door is all like 3 feet of snow.
Wow. Okay.
So I'm curious how they're gonna navigate that, particularly since the snow is now hard.
Yeah. Very hard. That's interesting.
It is. It really is. They are not people who look like us. I will say that.
Okay.
I don't know if that plays into it, but I have a theory that I'm going to get like a text or a call tomorrow asking if we can switch weeks. I don't know why. I just have something. I just have a feeling that's going to happen. We'll see. But yeah, that answer is going to be no.
Yeah. They've got a task in front of them, so I'm sure they're going to be trying to figure out what they're going to do.
Yeah. I will be in the crib watching some basketball, drinking a bye. Shameless plug.
Those are good. Those are very good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I love these. This one is the ruby raspberry lemon lime. I like the cherry that they got. And then there's I call it the Sydney Sweeney one. Like it's like a strawberry lemonade.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's a strawberry lemonade, right?
Yes, I think that's like the only thing related to Sydney Sweeney that I like, but that works. That works.
Yeah, no, they are good though, I must say.
Yeah, so bye. Talk to your boy. Talk to your girl. We love you. All right. We gonna get to the money.
Yeah.
All right.
It's coming. It's coming.
It's coming. We gonna talk it into existence. We gonna will it into existence.
We got.
All right. You don't know how, but it's gonna happen, and it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be funny. So yes.
I'm with you.
Yes, and I mean, who wouldn't want to be, associated with a wacky person like myself? Not as wacky, but equally awesome person as Shay.
Yeah.
All right. I don't take myself too seriously, but I don't assume that of other people. Like not everybody want to be called wacky, so that's why I tone it down.
I don't mind it all. A little bit of wacky never did you any harm. That's how I look at it.
All right, just making sure, because I know how I am, but
Yeah.
that's not how everybody else is.
Yeah,
I
I
had to
don't
learn
mind.
that.
I don't mind. So let's
Yes,
see.
but
What are we talking
I,
about this
I
week?
I'm actually excited about this week's conversation because it incorporates a few things, pop culture, some of our favorite television shows, and of course, a nice healthy splash of healing, hopefully. Um, but as I switch over to my notes, because I have some notes, the the I try. I mean, I know. I said before. I didn't take notes for this episode, but I got a couple because I really am looking forward to this week's topic, which is what '90s television has taught us about emotional avoidance. I'm a child of the '90s, so I definitely watched all of the TGIFs and the Fresh Princes and the Family Matters and the Martins and the Living Singles, Fresh Princes of the world, little nerd undercover in there as well. And as a kid, you watching it, it's fun. Sometimes they're funny, but kind of looking back as an adult, you look at it differently. Not only do you kind of see it differently, but you kind of understand like why you were watching it as a child, kind of what it taught you, kind of sometimes you realize that you watch a show because it felt safe, or it kind of taught you about the world
Mm-hmm.
a little bit. And one of the things looking back was how so many shows, some of the black television shows. Um, I don't know about the white one just because I ain't really get into too many of them. Um,
It's all about whatever
so
you
it's
were
not.
into, right?
Yeah, it's just like I just like I didn't have a problem with like Full House and
Mm-hmm.
I, Saved by the Bell. They were
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
I did watch Boy Meets World, but it just wasn't. I wasn't watching them like religiously. Like I didn't watch them every single week. I watched Martin every single week. I watched Living Single every week. Fresh Prince, like I was there every week.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to say that these issues didn't exist in those shows. They just weren't. They were my jam. Um, from a young age, I like watching people that look like me.
Nothing wrong with
It's very important. Very
with
important.
it.
Yeah. But I noticed also that some of these shows, particularly the comedic ones, they kind of taught us, or maybe not directly, but indirectly, kind of how to avoid, feelings and emotions. Yeah. So one of the shows, I'll kind of start off. One of the shows that I think fit into that particular category is actually one of my favorite shows, Living Single, and I find myself even today like watching that show when I kind of want an escape from the world. I don't want to deal with anything. That's kind of my comfort show. Uh, do you have like a similar show for you?
It's funny. So I have not been, I think I talked to you about this before and I told you that I have really shied away from watching TV. So this is why I haven't seen any of the TV shows in a long time. So I'm typically watching something that's like on Netflix, or Hulu or Prime or something like that because I get sick of commercials. I don't particularly like commercials because I don't like seeing the same thing over and over and over again. I get very annoyed, and there's a certain group of commercials that come on all the time, and I'm just like, yeah, I just can't do it. So I don't get to see the TV shows. I would like to. I think I'm gonna have to venture out, um, get away from my Netflix a little bit, and see if I can get back into watching some of the shows. I want to go back and watch Girlfriends. Is what I want to go back and watch. So you sent it to me before, so I just have to see if I can actually find it and get it on or record it or something.
Yeah. Girlfriends is definitely another one. There's actually a Facebook creator. I wish I remember her name, but um, her posts are pretty much like they break down each character and then kind of break down the show as a whole from this kind of a looking back as an adult
Okay.
type view, which is kind of the inspiration for this episode here. But yeah, definitely, Girlfriend is another one of my favorites. Um, William used to be my favorite character, not as much anymore. Um, Again, just looking back at it as
Adult,
as an
right?
adult, yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just, I mean, he's definitely funny. I guess they try to put him as the straight man, but he had his moments where, um, let's just say he could have could have been a lot better. I think he settled a lot in his relationships and ended up resenting um kind of the women that he settled
Mm-hmm.
for, even though he's the one who settled.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I definitely think he has a it's funny because I think he has the healthiest view of like what love is and what he wants, but like going about it, the way he goes about it is kind of
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah.
Um, I don't think him and Joan should have hooked up. I don't know why they did that.
No.
Uh, don't know how I feel about him being a black conservative.
Hmm.
I mean, they didn't get too much into it, but it's like, eh, all right. 'Cause, I mean, wherever you stand on that, it does kind of shape your view on certain
Mm-hmm.
things, particularly your dealings with women. I've seen. I just, and if you're not a person who ventures down that path, it could be kind of for me off putting because it's like that's it's not how you should treat your woman. She's not an employee. That's no, that's not. It's not it's not kind of it's not the path that I want to go down. Again, I realized we were talking about living single, and then went on the girlfriend's path.
Yeah.
So,
No, but Living Single. I mean, I used to watch Living Single too. It's just I watched Living Single. I watched The Fresh Prince. But it's just been so long since I've really gotten a chance to see them. That's what I was saying to you. Before we started. It's like so I had to. I really just sat down and thought about the shows and just so I made my notes basically literally off of just memories that I was remembering so that it seemed more authentic in the way that it the way it had an impact on me, because I was able to sit there and reflect off of it and make the notes. So, but yeah, I watched those shows too. Yeah.
like I'll definitely say one of the things that I noticed kind of going back and watching it, as an adult, is that excuse me, the the people that are the characters or the couple that we sort of like laughed at or clowned the most or thought I guess was like less sophisticated, less intelligent, um being Overton and Sinclair were actually the most emotionally intelligent people
Mm-hmm.
on
Yeah, they were actually the
on the
goals.
show.
Uh huh.
Yes, they were actually the
Uh huh.
goals. They are a couple's
Yeah.
goals.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
it yeah, it seems like all of our couple's goals are either like not what they seem or in jail or should be in jail.
Right. Uh huh. Uh huh.
Or just don't seem to actually like each other. Looking at you, Will and Jada.
Mm.
Like,
Mm.
I feel like she gets on here every 3 weeks and tells people she doesn't like Will. She like settled for him because Tupac was dead. I just like that just seems like
Oh, poor Will.
no, I
Poor
just
Will.
like every 90 days did something to let the world know that Tupac was their first choice, and I don't know why.
Yeah, I mean, it
Um,
has, yeah, you have seen it surface over the years. The funny thing is, Will Smith is pretty dope, though. In general, he's a pretty dope human being. I mean, everybody goes through their ups and downs in life. That's what makes us human. So there's no perfect individual there, especially when people are, in a certain status and they have a lot of pressure and things like that on them. But, overall, if you really look at it, I mean, he just as a person is pretty dope.
yeah, and like I'm trying to. I've been trying to like give grace and try to understand because we do this as a society where like we immediately attack the woman. Every time most times where a woman comes out and says she's felt X way in her marriage or with a
Mm-hmm,
person, and it doesn't align with what we think a woman should feel
mm-hmm.
in her marriage. Particularly when the man is well off. Forgetting also that she is well off.
Right.
Like our initial reaction is to like attack her. So like I'm like, no, don't want to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it's possible. Will hasn't said as much as Jada, so we don't know. We just kind of had at least we just kind of had her side. So like I don't know if Will been dealing with someone on the side. I'm not saying he is, but you don't know what you don't know if there's anything that he did or didn't do to kind of lead her to that.
Right. Right.
But it's like ah, the more she just I don't know if she like this dude because it's just like, can you show us a smoking gun or something?
Yeah.
Because it's just like, at least to me, it just seems like it's like unnecessary shots, and maybe like it's not direct, but it just seems like unnecessary shots sometimes. I don't know,
Which makes
but yes, Will is a
yeah,
dope
he is.
person.
He is.
Yes, like if yeah, like if he's into some nefarious shit, he's doing a very good job hiding it. I'll say
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. I'm gonna agree with that. And you know what? Just the thing is, but even just to see somebody evolve in their life and in their career and things like that, and you see, it's like, I mean, I don't know. Did you watch the Pole to Pole?
I didn't. I need to, but I'm not that mature of a person yet. So every time I hear that the phrase pole to pole, I think something else. Um, I- I'm just not that mature of a person yet. So I just like that is a dope name for like a strip club
It is
documentary
though. It
documentary.
is. It is.
It
I
is.
have to say. No, I have to say it is. I mean, if somebody was in that industry for sure, it would be a good one.
I was like, y'all couldn't come up with nothing else. Okay. And I get it, it's the polls, but it's like,
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't think about it like that
ah,
until you just said it, but it's good.
that's
I
why I'm
haven't
here.
watched it all, but I watched a few episodes so far, and it is really good. I must say, must give him credit
Nice.
for doing all the things he's doing, and it's pretty dope that we get to see it. So it's captivating.
I will say it seems, um, it seems like he's definitely comfortable with himself. And again, I don't know if that's never been the case, but I think it seems like he's more comfortable showing us that he's comfortable being himself.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'll put it that way. Which is cool. Um, I am always a fan of people being unapologetically themselves. Um, cause I remember, growing up and whenever we talk about like the best rappers and then the dopest rappers, he was always off to the side, like never in that conversation. But as soon as somebody put on summertime,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
hey,
Yeah,
so somebody put on summertime, we
that's for
jamming.
sure.
Um, we want to act like we weren't dancing to getting jiggy with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
We want to pretend now that we didn't like
Yeah.
that song. We want to pretend that we like
Yeah.
Miami. Okay, but Okay, but my man Will got he got some hits and he got some classics.
I feel like the Men in Black, that wasn't that a hit? That
Yes,
song was a hit. So
yes. Everybody was doing
yeah,
dance. Okay,
yeah,
everybody
Men
was
in
doing.
Black was a hit. So
Everybody was a hit. Like that entire soundtrack was a hit. Just Cruising, I think was better than Men in Black. But we want to act like he doesn't belong, in or near that top tier because he's not talking about uh violence and drugs, getting out the hood, trapping, disrespecting
right,
women.
right,
I guess he's for the most part his music is clean, and I guess you just can't have
yeah.
that. Um, but again, he was like I think he was the first ever winner of a Grammy for rap.
I think you're right. I think you're right about that. Yep.
Yeah, and then, I mean, and if we know this, obviously he knows this. He's
Yeah.
rapped about it.
Yeah, he has. He has.
Yeah, but I'm happy to see him and anyone else like just being unapologetically themselves. And he's respected in the industry. He's done songs with Lil Kim. He's done songs with Snoop
Right.
Dogg.
This is true.
Okay.
This is true. He is respected in the industry. He's done songs for a lot of different people. He has.
Yeah, two of the hardest rappers in the industry got tracks with
Yeah.
Will Smith.
Yeah. So you gotta. I mean, you gotta give respect where respect is due.
Yeah. I don't know. I kind of sort of still root for Will and Jada.
Yeah.
I don't know. If for anything, just like for the kids, because them two are weird. Them kids are weird.
They are very different children. The funny thing is, though, they seem to be navigating themselves into some successful lanes. I think that I want to say it was Jaden the other day. I saw it has some kind of collection, maybe with Louis Vuitton or something.
Okay.
He has some shoes or something like that are his. So I said, well, that's impressive. So it's like he's finding his way over into his own little success. So that's good. Yeah. I might be wrong about the brand, but I feel like it was Louis Vuitton, but it's definitely one of them. And they were boots and things, and his dad was trying them on.
Fair enough. Fair enough. What about Willow?
Doesn't she sing or something? She sings, right? She makes music.
I think she sings.
She makes music, I'm going to say. Yeah, she makes music, and I think that she's had maybe a couple songs that were successful in the genre she's in.
Yeah, I think that she did Whip My Hair, right?
That was definitely her. That was the beginning Willow,
Okay.
but that's not the Willow that you're going to get right now for sure.
I don't know.
That's not the music she's making. But that was her.
Okay.
To whip my hair back and forth.
Fair enough. Okay. Yeah. Well, I don't. What I'm curious about, and I think him and his mother perfectly like stay out of the spotlight is Trey, firstborn. For those who don't know, Will has three kids. Firstborn, his name is Trey. Seems to be an okay kid, but yeah, definitely not in the spotlight like the other two. And I think that was by design.
Yeah.
That was with his first baby mother.
Was he married to her?
I don't know. If he was, it was brief. But not sure.
And is she famous, right? She's somebody's daughter or something. No?
I think so. I know she was a model. Still maybe one. But I forget if Will and her were married.
I'm feeling like she might be Quincy Jones's daughter. Is that who that was? Quincy Jones's daughter?
See, now you want to make me look this up. Well, I'm curious now.
Because I'm very curious. There's like little droplets of information that are coming into my mind, and that's what I'm thinking. Like, wait a minute, First of all, was he married to her? And secondly, is she, or if it's not his daughter, whose daughter is she?
So they were married for 3 years.
There we go.
And Cherise and Pino.
Oh, okay.
I don't think that's
Mm-mm.
Quincy Jones's. But yeah, I do remember her and like Jada not getting along for some reason in the beginning. Um, but now they seem to be better. I actually think they're kind of like that whole blended family thing was kind of like the inspiration for All of Us, the TV show, which was produced by Will Smith in part.
Oh yeah.
See, just dropping knowledge on
Okay.
y'all
Okay.
today. Just uh
Yeah.
yeah. Yes, I actually like that show. Uh, had two of my favorite actresses, Elise Neal and Lisa Ray. So
I don't think I ever watched that
very
show.
very nice. Oh yeah, all of us early 2000s, I believe. That's for maybe 4 seasons.
Okay.
Uh, who was on there? Dwayne Martin.
Mm.
And then Nisi was that. Well, Nisi was the name of Lisa Ray's character. Um, Lisa Ray is, I guess, Dwayne Martin's ex-wife on the show. Elise Neal was his fiance, but then she left the show. And then there was a kid, Bobby, and then Tony Rock was on the show.
Okay.
And then they had, he had a cameo by Will Smith. He was on the show for an episode. Tisha Campbell, I think, was on the show. Beyonce was on the
Excuse me.
show. She had a little cameo on the show, so it was pretty decent. Beyonce, young Beyonce, before she got too big
Yeah.
for shows.
Oh,
But yeah, she was on there.
I don't ever remember watching that one. I was trying to think of it. I don't remember watching it.
It was definitely it was good, and it actually, I mean, looking back on it now, it kind of showed that you just because you're not with the mother of your child doesn't mean that you have to be enemies. I think it did a good job of showing that, kind of showing that journey, because it is journey from being, understanding that your marriage is over, but knowing you have this child. I think he was like 2 at the time, who you both love and both need to
Mm-hmm.
take care of. And how are we going
Right.
to do this? Because we can't give him the love that he needs if we're at each other's throats all the
Correct.
time. It's not
Very
healthy.
true.
But we also can't pretend that we're great, because if we were, we'd
Right.
still be in this house.
Right. Right. It has to be realistic. It has to be realistic.
Exactly, exactly. And our kid, he may be too, but he's just
Yeah.
stupid. And
Yeah.
children
No, they're
aren't
not.
stupid.
No, they're
You
not.
know, children see. Um, so how do you do this? So I think that they did a decent job, or a good job, of kind of showing that transition in that journey.
That's good.
Yeah, and it was, it wasn't easy for either of them. Like, you see how they both kind of get in, deal with new people, navigate, single parenthood, navigate finding love again, being engaged, all of that. Uh, there were like there's an episode where Elise Neal's character, I can't remember her character's name, but she put, when she was signing in for Nisi, like, she put her maiden name as opposed to her married name, because she was not married anymore, and like that, and Nisi got upset, and she was like, and again, part of it was kind of a territorial thing, because like that's my man now. Why you still taking this? Why you
Right.
still using his
Right.
name? But she was like, no, like, I'm not keeping his last name because I want some connection to him. I want to have the same last name as my son. And least in this character, she like, oh, because she didn't see it like that. She just saw her the ex-wife trying to like
Jack is
stay in the
name.
picture, trying to keep. I was like, no, Bobby has his last name. I don't want people thinking that I'm not in the picture or anything. Like I want him. I want us to
Sure,
have the same last name.
sure.
That's
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
But I like how they did that episode and just how like both sides kind of were able to explain their rationale.
yeah. We need a show like that now. We need to continue to be able to show that. That's a struggle in society. So we need that to
Yeah.
be rebooted.
Yeah. It, it, I don't. I don't know if it's on the air. But it was in reruns when I was like in grad school. It was like in mid
Okay.
2000s. So hopefully maybe it'll come back to syndication. But it was definitely a good show while it lasted.
Nice.
Um, yeah, one of those rare shows where like the men aren't just emotionless, emotionless idiots. And again, I'm seeing the value in those types of characters. Um, which is why I like Overton. He's actually now become my favorite character. Him and Sinclair. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah,
Um, from Living Single. Um, again, you used to the traits and the characteristics that they have. I remember, we used to clown people who, were sensitive or were aware of how
yes.
they felt emotionally, and were able to clock other people
Mm-hmm.
emotionally. Like we thought that was soft. Um, the fact that he's not formally educated, we clown. Even though again, he's done it right for
Yeah.
himself.
Oh yeah.
Like he's done all
Yeah.
right for himself. I as someone with multiple degrees, I'm here to tell you, like, learning a trade can be just as lucrative
It
as getting
absolutely
a
can.
degree. Um,
It absolutely can.
okay, because I don't know how to fix a pipe.
Same.
I don't know, I don't know what a
Yeah.
lug nut is.
Nope.
It's like, so I definitely like his and Sinclair's journey. I think we all kind of gravitated naturally towards like Queen Latifah's character,
Yep.
Khadijah. Well, really, Khadijah, Max, and Regine. I think people gravitated towards more Kyle in there too, because again, they're like the upperly mobile
Yeah.
folks, the quote unquote the
That. Mm-hmm.
successful ones, the quote unquote
Mm-hmm.
stylish ones. But there's like all of them. You can see they're kind of using their different, the things that we look at as pluses. We actually see that they're using to kind of hide certain things or make up for certain things. I want to know if you kind of saw that
Yeah,
too.
because I
Because even though it's been a while
but
since you've seen
it has, but
seen the
still, but
show.
as you're saying, as you're saying it, I'm thinking like, yeah, I feel like people did kind of gravitate towards the others versus Sinclair and Overton, and I feel like because Khadijah was like, of course, part of that hustle culture, right? Because that's what everybody liked to praise, right? And so she's also the strong friend, right? The friend that never collapses, right? So she's like the one you supposed right?
Yes.
That's the one you're supposed to always be able to go to. And Maxine, she's tough, right? And so and she always and even though she's a woman, she's a tough woman, right? And so, she didn't show her emotions really, right? So it was all about keeping that tough exterior with her, using sarcasm and to offset different emotions and feelings and things like that. So yeah, I think that's what I remember about them, and watching the show and kind of what I got from them. I mean, I think I got from them even a lot of the same thing that came from a lot of the shows that we watched, where it was a lot about using laugh tracks and comedy to offset real feelings or avoid them, or
Yes.
promote a quick recovery period.
Yeah, that's definitely a good point. Because instead of a deeper dive, we get it a laugh track. There, yeah, we can't, instead of whenever there's an opportunity to kind of explore or go deeper into an issue, we either pivot it or turn it into
Mm-hmm.
a quick joke. And yeah, it's they're comedies, and you have 25 minutes to tell a story. Um, Looking back on it now, I think there were still those opportunities to explore certain topics and explore certain aspects of life. Yeah, it's a show about 20 somethings, early 30 somethings trying to make their way in the world. There's still real life issues. Um, you know, I think we could have explored why Regine felt such a need to like be the stylish one and always have why she felt the need to always felt the need to like marry rich, like that was her thing, finding her rich guy, and ultimately she found him, but like what was the
Right.
reason? You know, like she's I always remember that the line that Kitty just said, she's just a snob from the
Yeah.
projects. Like, how
Yeah.
did you get
Yeah.
that way?
How, right.
You
How
know,
did she
like
become that way?
how do you become a
Yeah.
snob in the
Yeah.
projects?
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah, you're right. And they didn't really explore that. That's just the way she was. That was just, and that was it.
Yeah. Like Hillary Banks, it makes perfect sense. Just seeing how she grew up. Even though she was there before um, Philip Banks became rich, but I think I think when we first see Fresh Prince, like she's been living with money longer than she hasn't. Uh, but I don't like how do we get there with
Yeah,
Regine?
I
Like
don't know.
I
I don't
don't
know how
know.
Regine got there. Yeah, and she was very much about, I mean, her whole lifestyle was that way. The promoting of success. I mean, from having things, from tangible things, her success was more measured in that way. Making sure she had certain clothes or the hair is a certain way and, all those kinds of things. So, and you know what I remember? So when I was thinking about living single, so I remember there was an episode, I don't know when I think it was like closer to the beginning, but she had this boyfriend that she was like really in love with, and he broke up with her, and so she was like heartbroken. This is what I remember specifically about the episode. She was absolutely heartbroken. And then but instead of dealing with the heartbreak, right, and the grief and the loss that comes with that when you're in love with someone and then they leave you, everything was deflected into jokes and laughs and things like that. So it's funny. So when I first watched it, I didn't even understand it, but when I thought about it, when it came, when it resurfaced in my mind, I thought, you see, so that's early on teachings of, avoiding, right, dealing with your emotions and, figuring out how you heal from when something happens to you, right? Because everybody knows if you're really in love with someone and they leave you, a few jokes is not going to do it. I don't give a damn who's telling those jokes. It's not gonna happen.
Yeah, that's not gonna be rectified by next
No, it's
episode.
not. No, it's
Sorry.
not like, oh yeah, let's tell a few jokes, haha, and now we're good. No, and roll the credits. Absolutely not.
Yeah, yeah, but you're right, and you're right. So I think she had there were there were a few men that she was with where you know you could see that there was definitely that connection. Beyond what they could provide, because I think a couple of them weren't what she would consider wealthy or even you know Denzel attractive. There was Heavy D's character.
Oh,
This was getting when we were still
wow.
fat shaming
Yeah.
people. So and he was
Yes.
Heavy D, and I think at the time he was like a
Mm-hmm.
truck driver. She was with Keith, I think, who was like an artist.
Oh wow, I do remember that.
And he was, yeah. Um, those are the two that stand out because they weren't her typical like
Correct.
rich
Yeah.
guy that she dealt with. Like those two in particular, you could see she actually connected with on a
Mm-hmm.
deeper level. And you can see that it kind of, at least with Heavy D, it definitely there was some conflict there because again he's a larger dude. And also I think probably made less money
Yeah.
than she did. Although again, she wasn't super well off either. Um, I think Keith's character, kind of getting back to the point, he was a little bit successful, but not emotionally available. And I think in that like that those episodes that arc, you saw that yeah, she actually does want some form of connection beyond
Right.
a man's wallet. Like
Right.
it is important, and she was hurt when like he didn't get
Mm-hmm.
it. She was hurt when she was like, okay, we can just break up. Um, and I heard her because all the money in the world, like like that, it ain't gonna
No.
keep you warm at night. Not in the way
No.
that you want. Um, so kind of looking back on it now, I was like, oh, I kind of I don't know if related is the word, but I it resonated with me because man, we're taught um, go to school, get a good job, make money, and everything will follow. They don't teach us, oh yeah, you actually have to talk to your wife or talk to your girlfriend at some
Mm-hmm.
point. Um,
Yeah.
they actually want you to show emotion
Yeah.
outside the bedroom.
Yeah. Yeah. There's more to it. Just a
Little
little
things,
bit more.
a little bit more, a
Yeah. Yeah.
little bit more. I I think that could have been it would have been cool like if they had sort of like a I don't know like a redemption arc where like he kind of saw oh yeah I actually do need this person in my life and they kind of even if they didn't find their way back to each other kind of explored that. I think they kind of I don't know I mean she ended up with a rich with her rich millionaire who actually was a human being so I guess it
Mhm.
kind of worked out but um there's we didn't we kind of just got there. We didn't like get to like any of the growth that it kind
Right.
of took to get there and why she is
Yeah.
the way she was. Kind of how you're saying. Yeah,
Yeah. They could have explored that a little more for sure.
yeah. I think Max is like the textbook example of emotional avoidance. And I think they actually did it for one episode at least. We kind of see why Max is the way she is because her mother is kind of that way. Very, very strict, very accomplishment oriented. Um, so you kind of say, oh, she is the way she is because like she has a very tough,
Right.
strong mother who does care for her, but just has a very
Mm-hmm.
cold way, I
Mm-hmm.
guess, of showing it. Um, so I think that could have been a very good uh, arc to kind of explore. But instead of doing that, they basically showed how Max was a man in all of her all of her
Oh, right. Right.
lives.
Right.
You know,
Right.
like
Yeah.
why is Max so? Why is she so bold? Why is she? Oh, he used to be a man. Okay, that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah. Instead of
You know,
exploring. Yeah. Yeah.
that,
I'm going to agree with that.
I think it was like her past lives, 4 or 5. She's yeah, always a dude. And I was like, it was funny, but it's like, I don't know if that's the best. I think we could have explored
Yeah.
that differently. But like I said, we do it. We gotta have that laugh track. We gotta,
Yeah.
put a button on this.
Exactly. That's what it was basically all about.
but I wish and I hope that we do have a show that can kind of show that emotional vulnerability. Although it probably will need to be on like Netflix, um, or
Mm-hmm.
something.
People want.
By the way, the reason I don't watch Netflix is because there's too much damn content
There is
on
a
that
ton of
thing.
stuff. That's
Um,
why I don't come off of Netflix, because I can always find something else to watch. It'll have shows on there, miniseries on there that could be from 2014, 2015, something that you didn't even see, and then all of a sudden you can go and watch it. So yeah, that's why I don't come off of there too much.
yeah, and they do a very good job of like making you feel like if you like log off or you cancel, you're gonna miss stuff because they always got stuff coming
Always.
out. And yeah, and then they always taking stuff
They
away or they're
do. Well, I
canceling
guess
stuff.
they have to,
So it's
right? I
like,
mean, because the cachet is.
no, they don't have
Uh,
to. They don't
well, I
have to.
figured I figured they feel like if they take something away and tell you they're giving you something else, that builds the excitement.
I guess, but I just see a bunch of pissed off
Well,
people because they shows shit shows keep
listen,
getting
if you if
canceled.
you if you're used to watching Netflix, that comes along with the territory for sure. And it comes with the territory. So don't come over there if that doesn't suit your personality for sure. But they've also evolved because they have so many different things that are live. Like how they had that fight. That fight was live. They have
Mhm.
like different live events, which they didn't have
Okay.
before. But to be able to go in there and see a boxing match or see a concert or see like a stand-up special,
Mhm.
so those things weren't on there at first, so they have evolved for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I it's probably been like 5 years since I've had Netflix. Um, it's just hard for me to keep up with everything. And there's what Netflix, Hulu. Like it seems like every channel has their own kind of like plus thing going on. It's
It
just too
is.
much.
It's a lot.
Um,
It's a lot.
it's just
And they all have something on them. I don't know if one. I guess it depends on what you're into, on what you think, which one you think is better than the other, because they all have something that you can go on there and watch, and you can probably go from one thing to the next if you're on any of them. I'm sure you can do the same thing on Hulu, which I think is also Disney Plus, or there's
mhm.
something like that, because they both seem to have the same stuff on them. So I think they merged now. Amazon Prime. I don't watch that one too much. I have it, but Hulu and Netflix, I feel like, and you can definitely find stuff on.
Yeah. And just think, all of that could have been blockbusters,
Yeah,
but Blockbuster was like, nah. People will always go outside to a store to get their movies. They don't want to be able to to order
gotta
it.
have vision. Yep,
Gotta,
yep, it's important.
you know. What did we say last time?
Aha, aha.
Aha, aha.
Yep, it's very important. Gotta move with the time.
Gotta
Yeah, you
have
gotta have
vision.
that vision or you're gonna be stuck. Everything's definitely gonna move.
Hmm. Yeah. Netflix went from DVDs in the mail to live television.
Yep, yep. Somebody had a vision.
Blockbuster
You know
just
what I
gone.
mean? And they're doing events
Yeah.
that are making millions of dollars, those events that they're making. It's crazy how
Hmm.
much money people. I mean, even when I saw from that fight, that Anthony Joshua fight, I was like, wow, they made that much money. That is crazy off of a Netflix event. Netflix they know what they're doing.
They do.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Netflix. Um, but no, you would not be getting my money just yet.
Not that much of a shout out.
Not that much of a shout out. Like, okay. Love you from a distance. I do have Amazon Prime, but that's just for because I gotta watch my NBA basketball. So that's
Mm-hmm.
about it. I have I probably got like 25 movies and shows like added to my list that I want to
Mm-hmm.
watch, but I've never watched.
Yeah, when they send you the thing, they say add it to your list. So yeah, there's plenty of things that get added to the list and they are never watched.
Never. Yeah, but what was it the Friday nights on Prime? No basketball. That's me.
Yeah. Don't they do football too?
Yeah. They do. Thursday. I
Yeah, I
think
was gonna
Thursday
say I
night
thought
football
football now.
on Prime. Hmm. The one game of the week that
Yeah.
nobody watches is
So it's somewhere.
is on it's on somewhere.
Somebody's trying to have a vision.
Somebody trying to have a vision. Somebody, but sometimes
Yeah.
like, they just need to let that go. They really do. They're trying to have football on every day, but it's like people don't want to watch football on Thursday unless Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
But
That's the tradition. That's the
they
tradition,
try.
right?
Yeah. But what else? What else we got on the agenda here? Yes. Whoa, one of my favorite case studies. And I guess a show that's kind of being talked about for other reasons. Martin.
Uh-huh.
I used to, yeah, right there with Live Single, because actually I remember it would come on before Live Single. Um, good old Martin Payne. Um, but typically, it's again, it's interesting watching these shows as an adult because what you thought was just like comedy was just like immaturity uh, packaged as comedy or as jokes. Because it's like we used to think, oh, Martin and Gina, couples goals. And I was like, I don't know if that's
The
the
couples goals
I don't
or
know. I don't, I don't know. Like when you see you see these memes, I guess, kind of these posts, which are couples that Martin and Gina, Uncle Phil and Viv, my favorite, Heathcliff and Claire Huxtable, Flo, and of course I can't remember the gentleman's name from Good Times, and it's like I don't know if all of those or any of those should be the goals.
right? They were goals. I think that it's funny how a lot of that stuff when you were younger, they were goals for you before you realized what real goals should be. And once you got older and you've evolved and you've gone through life and you really see, okay, so now this is really what you want. And you look at that and it's like, okay, so no, that's not it. You know. And I have to tell you, I haven't seen Martin in a long time, but I can guarantee that if I actually sat down and watched an episode or two, I'm sure I'd be, like, wow. I'm sure I'd be taken aback from, how I feel about it now to how I felt about it before when I was watching it.
Yeah, for me it hits differently for me. Then versus now as well. Like I don't think I've been able to like watch a full episode of Martin. I just haven't wanted to. Um, but just like I don't find it funny. I just don't. Um, yeah, so I'm gonna like just the ways that Martin would treat Gina, Martin would treat Pam, Martin would treat his friends, Martin would treat pretty
Anyone,
much anybody. It just wasn't.
anyone.
Yeah, it's not funny. I don't know how, and also I don't know how realistic that is as somebody who is not tall enough to
Oh, that's funny.
like I could, if you're, Shaq's height, um, maybe a tenth of Shaq's wealth. Okay. Um, but yeah, like one of the running
Yeah,
jokes on that show
that
was how
was I was
short he
gonna say
was.
that was one of the big jokes is
Like,
that he was short.
yeah, it's like you can't be that short and be
Yeah.
such a big ass. Yeah, and again, there were times where he definitely got his comeuppance. I think it was Hitman Hearns that episode where he sent him and punched him into the
Mm-hmm.
wall. Yeah, Pam, she gives it as
Mm-hmm.
good as she takes it. Um, you know, and again, there's uh regarding her character. I guess there was the conversation surrounding whether or not the way she was treated had to do with colorism. I don't know. Um, I would lean towards not. I think she was she
Yeah.
endured plenty of disrespect. But I don't think that it was due to colorism. I just think that
Yeah, I was
Martin
gonna
was
say,
just
I
a
just think that was just him in
disrespectful
general. I
character.
don't think that's a colorism thing. I think Martin's just Martin. He was disrespectful to everybody.
Yeah, he was always talking about Gina
Yeah, I mean,
Gina's
yeah,
head.
that's his
Like,
wife he was talking about. So I mean,
yeah,
it's like, you definitely ain't getting a pass. Yeah.
yeah. Well, I mean, like I like the fact that anybody can get it, but yeah, it's just you see the level of like just blatant disrespect, and then now it's the question for me becomes, okay, where does it come from? Why
Yeah, why
why
you
is
like
he
that
like
all the
this
time? Yeah, like even when he was
all the
supposed to be
time?
being nice, it wasn't what I would consider to be nice. Oh, I think that's probably why I have not seen one of those episodes in so long. I don't have a desire because when I think about it, I'm turned off. You know, like I'm totally turned off. I'm like, would I want to sit and try to watch an episode? I'm gonna tell you, probably not.
Hmm. Yeah. Um, it's I guess kind of ironic because what's the one thing he's always telling people? Respect my house.
Uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh. Yeah.
You know, but you don't respect the
Yeah.
people in it or out of it,
Yeah, he was always
or
kicking people
anywhere.
out.
Um, Always kicking
It's
people out.
like, respect my house. I mean, respect and no respect, you're going to kick somebody out. Get to stepping,
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know.
Mm-hmm. And it's usually because they, give him
Well,
back what
yeah,
he's giving
yeah,
them.
yeah.
It's just
He
like,
dishes it out very well, but he does not take it well at all. He never was able to take it, but
correct.
he loves to dish it. Loves to dish. Even on his show, his
Mm-hmm.
radio show. So he was even on the show talking to different people that would call in.
Yeah. Um, like I will, venture to question whether or not Martin actually deserved, to be
Hmm.
with someone like Gina.
Okay.
Because I think at least in the beginning, the early seasons, I think she was more successful than he
She
was.
was because she had some type of corporate
Yeah,
job,
I
correct?
think it was like
Mm-hmm.
mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that was like the plot of one of the episodes was like, the fact that she missed with more money
I
than him,
feel like it was.
and how that was a big, yeah, that was a
Yeah.
big shot to his ego. Um, instead of exploring that, what did we do is, what did she come up? Oh, she basically said if you do if you counted by hours,
I
like
make less
hourly,
money.
you make I make more. like the woman had to like, yeah, the woman had to stroke his ego. Couldn't shine too brightly because it would
Yeah,
upset her
which is
man.
crazy.
Um, yeah, man couldn't get more hours, couldn't be more ambitious. No, we had to like come down, I
Yeah,
guess, to his level, make sure he's okay. So it's like even when they showed these flaws, they didn't really get we've been conditioned to just laugh at it or you know just look at it at a
right.
surface level.
Yeah.
Uh, I guess I don't know how I
Because
feel
it's
about that.
almost like if you're funny, you don't have to be honest. It's like, oh, if you're funny, what difference does it make about how real you are with even the topics that you are yourself touching on, right? But it's like, oh, well, we'll just laugh them
Hmm.
off. So is it better to not approach the topics at all and then just keep it so it's comedy based, or is it better to, what makes you think it's better to approach the topic but then deflect it with comedy?
Yeah, I don't know. Um, I don't know, and I struggle to find like an actual serious topic on that show. Um, and again, I know it's a it's a comedy, but every comedy
Oh
has
yeah,
some
there's
sort of
always something that
serious
comes
like
up. Was
storyline.
there ever? I can't think
Yeah,
of anything on that show. I can think of stuff on the other
I
shows,
think
but that one I'm gonna say no.
yeah, I, the closest the most I will put it this way, the most serious storyline I think was when Martin and Gina broke up.
Okay.
Um, because like she was thinking about marriage and he
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
turned it into a joke. And just didn't take her concern seriously. I think she got that. I think she got a job in New York, a job
Yeah.
somewhere out of the city. Um, and he all but dared her to take it. Um, and she did because it's like why couldn't
Yes.
you know? But that's probably like the most serious we got. Um, but instead of uh doing doing the actual work to actually grow up, she comes back to him. They get married, but I mean, he's not still the
Yep.
same person. So it's like uh, there's no growth there. There's no because there was no requirement of growth there. It was just I'm doing what I have to do to get this person back, and then that's kind of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. No, you're 100% right. That's exactly what happened. He was never required to in any of the relationships, right? Whether it had been with Gina or if it was with Pam or Tommy, it just didn't matter. He none of them ever really forced him to change any of his behavior or forced him to grow in any way or mature. So that's why it always just seemed the same. Everything kind of seemed the same. I think that's why I stopped watching it after a while, because I watched it for a little while, but then I just was not interested. Because it's just the same rhetoric.
Hmm. And it's interesting that you say it that way. Like no one, none of the people in his orbit or in the circle like required him or forced him to change or grow up or mature. Yet it seems like everybody in the circle, in some way, in some way, shape, or form, grew up or
They
matured.
did. They did.
Or
Even
you know,
Cole. Uh huh.
Cole, like even Cole, like he's still out there, but it just wasn't. You can see there was like something changed. Something between I'm terrible with names, but you know the Cole that was with Big Shirley is not the same Cole that ended up with his girlfriend on the show. And again, neither of them are like splitting atoms, okay? But there's like something there. Like he grew up enough to like find someone on his level. And again, as wacky as they are, what they have is actually healthier than I think what Martin and Gina have.
They're just odd ducks.
Yeah, they just odd ducks, and they found each other, which is what you want. I think in society. That's what you want.
Yeah, it's typically what you want.
Let y'all be out together. Y'all go. Yeah, like again, Tommy and Pam. When I forget that I don't know if they stayed together, but they got together for a time. I think that was the strongest
I think so too.
relationship on the show because I said this before. We didn't play about Pam as much as Martin made jokes about Gina and how he was like disrespectful basically to Gina.
He was not.
I mean, was not. He was not. He loved her down.
Yeah, he didn't play
for the
about
time
it.
that they were together. Yeah. He didn't tell her where he worked, but
you couldn't get that inside information. But he didn't play about it.
He didn't play about it.
That's funny.
Yeah, it seemed like everybody outside of Martin kind of grew up and matured. I was going to say Gina, but I don't know. I kind of feel like if not backwards, her growth kind of stunted. I feel like she was on a certain path, and it sucked. It sucked to say it, but it's true. Like I think staying with Martin kind of put her on a path where, for her, there's like no real growth.
I can see that.
She's kind of like her life was kind of taking care of this man child.
Right, catering to him.
Yeah, like I'm trying to think of like, what after they got married, kind of like what sort of big life event or moment of growth happened.
I don't remember anything.
Yeah, like each, Tommy got with Pam. Like I said, Cole found his girlfriend. Cole found a stable job. Like there was actually, story plot for Pam getting into, I think, that the A&R business, A&R industry, and she did it. Like she actually, like she's like that sort of trajectory. I don't remember.
I don't remember anything for Gina. I really don't. I mean, after in the beginning when it was kind of like she was successful and all that stuff, and then we had to go through the whole, she can't make more money than me because it's a big deal thing. I think that was pretty much it, besides when she did go to take that one job to show, hey, I can go do something. But then she didn't end up doing it anyway because she came back to him. But those are the only two things I remember also about the show as far as she's concerned. Because everything with her was him.
Yeah, it was all about Martin.
It was. Yes, 100%.
Yeah. So like I said, it's interesting looking back on these things and just seeing how, again, if not directly, even indirectly, we're just kind of taught to, avoid any sort of emotional labor. Really dismiss any sort of emotion, treat any sort of emotion as like a weakness or just something to be avoided. Yeah, it's just it's I don't say weird, but it's just looking at it, um, I kind of question like why
You,
why even
I know.
watch
You
these
know
shows
what? Let me tell you.
growing up.
So it's funny, right? Because so when I was sitting, I told you I was making notes, right? And so when I started making notes as I thought through it, like I actually did this more almost like a project, right? But I started like so some of the topics that I have, the headers. This is to show you the one I was like, what were we doing? We're as emotional armor, strength taught as suppression, laugh tracks versus real emotion, emotional avoidances in real life. This is what I was coming up with in my head as I was thinking about these shows, which is like, and so if you think about it, and those are the things that are coming up in your mind, it's like, what were you doing? Why were you watching this? It was crazy. I told you, I said, oh my goodness, this just really made me start thinking a lot. And I never, of course, when you're younger, you don't think about any of these things. But now as an adult, and you think about it, it's like, so this is what was kind of being promoted.
Yeah, why was it? And why was that? Letting me
Exactly.
watch this? Like,
Exactly.
what? Where we at though?
Yeah.
Because they watching
Oh,
the same shows.
yeah. We were all watching the same shows, you know? It's like, yeah, I mean, what we
Mm-hmm.
did was we learned to laugh through our pain, you know?
Yep. And that there's definitely something there because that's kind of how we survived these last 400, 500 years. So yeah, there's
Mm-hmm.
definitely some truth in that. Um, but yeah, 'cause at some point you gotta deal with it. I will say I do think that it's my opinion, but I think part of it is just that we were so I don't know happy to see the number of
Uh-huh.
shows with people who look like us um, that the we really weren't caring about how in depth or not they were. We just
Mm-hmm.
happy to see a black show. And when I mean a black show, a show centered around
Yes.
characters that are black, not just five white people
One.
and some minor black character. Okay, this is not this isn't Friends and like Ross dates a black woman for 2 episodes to show people that Friends isn't racist. Like, no,
Oh
actual
my
black show
goodness.
with black
Do you
with
know I
black
didn't even know
characters.
that? Wow.
Oh yeah, I think uh, who was it? Was it Aisha Tyler? Maybe it's Aisha Tyler. Someone basically, a few of these shows do that. When the heat gets a little bit too high, they'll have like a black love interest for two
Yeah.
episodes.
Well, we know what that's all about, you know. You know, because if I have friends
Yeah.
or if I've worked with one or, all that rhetoric. So,
Yeah, I think what was it? What's the Girls? I think did it. I think Sex and the City probably did it as well. Um, because like yes, as a white person, you could probably go your entire life or a long period of time during your life with little to no interaction with people who aren't white. Um, and the black people you do encounter are probably what you would consider
mm-hmm.
lower at a lower station. It's less believable when the show is set in New York City. Like if if all you surround yourself with is white people like that, there's some intention there. like like cool. And I'm not saying you get to have like close black friends, but it's like you don't interact with no black people
It
in New
is
York City.
strange. It is strange.
It is very strange. Like,
I'm gonna agree
like
100%. I mean, because look at where you are.
yeah. Uh, yeah, and again, there are definitely places in New York City that are segregated, but the places that they
Oh, I
were
was
in
gonna
the
say, yeah,
show weren't.
not where they were though.
They
Yeah,
are
not
too.
where they were. Not where they were.
they're, they're not.
No,
Like you're not gonna tell
no,
me you
yeah,
can't find
yeah,
no
no,
black people in Midtown. Like,
no, no,
bitch,
no, they weren't at
come
all.
on,
We're not.
like no,
That was
no,
purposeful.
no. Okay, that's awful. So I think it is funny because I think uh, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, I think he's one of all-time great basketball player, all-time great person actually, um, super intelligent, um, and he's like I think he's a pop culture sort of critic. Like he writes articles, and one of them he watches girls, or he watched girls, and he wrote an article about it. And I guess it rubbed Lena Dunham like the wrong way. She had to write an article about it. But one of the things he said, and one of the critiques was that how do you not interact with any black
Right.
people in the show? So what they did was I think she got a love interest for like 2 episodes. That'll shut
I was gonna say, you can't say
the
that
Negroes
anymore.
up
You
for a
can't say
while.
we never because we can. When you soon as you say we never, I'm gonna say, well, do you remember? Uh huh.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So, but yeah, like I said, at the jump, I think we were so happy to see um so many for the time for the time
Yeah.
so many shows with people who look like us that were good. Like for all we're talking about them, they were good shows. Like all of these shows that I had
Oh yeah.
multi-season runs. Um, they transcended black people, like black and white people love Fresh Prince. Black and white people, to a lesser extent, Livingston go, people like uh, Martin, um,
Mm.
Cosby. But I think when Cosby was on, I think Cosby was like the only show kind of that showed that was black centered, of its around. I think as a case, this might be, I think we were allowed like one black show a decade for it seemed
Yeah.
it seemed like yeah, because like okay, Cosby had the '80s, I think Good Times in the '70s. Uh, I forget when Different Strokes was on, um, but there
Yeah.
wasn't that many. I'll say, um, and when I say black shows, black shows that are centered around black people, maybe not produced in part, definitely in part written, or at least have some input from
That
black
matters.
people. I think one of the issues with yeah, I think one of the issues with Family Matters in particular was that some of the cast was trying to tell the writers, yo, this ain't what we do, and the writers are like, we know what black people want to watch or black people want to see,
Okay.
which is weird to
When
say
you're not
when
black.
when you're not black. Yeah, just it's kind of weird. Um, it's like me saying I know what it's like to give birth. Doesn't really doesn't go over well.
Doesn't matter how many stories you've been told. Who you watch go through it. Yeah.
Yeah, like that's again another tangent because I love tangents. Um, but I always kind of draw that parallel. Like um, whenever someone who's not black tries to tell black people like what black people like and what black people do, like when men try to tell women like what women know, I always just like compare it to a man telling a woman what giving birth feels like. Like, you
Can't do
can't.
it. Can't do it.
You can't.
Can't
You
even
can't do
imagine
it.
it. Yeah, there's some things that you do have
You
to
can't.
experience in life, I'm going to say, before you can really discuss them. Not everything is like that, but that's definitely one of those things you need to experience before you speak about it.
Yeah. And it's okay
It
to
is.
not be able to speak about it.
It is.
It's okay to because
Yeah.
sometimes you just can't. And that's okay. I will never know what that experience is like. I'll never know what that feels like. And that's okay. But I shouldn't talk about it. Like I know it.
Yeah.
I know what
We
it's
all
like.
have some experiences that we won't ever be able to talk about. We got some over on our side. We can't say we know. We just don't know.
Yes.
And we'll never know.
Yeah. I will never know what it's like to cook to conquer the world and steal everyone's spices, but still don't use them for my own food. I'll never know what that's like.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
I'll never know what that's like. It took me. It took me to in it. Yeah. In a thinking.
I was like, okay, I got you. I got you. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I would never know what it's like to come to a country with 20 million people already there
Yeah.
and say I discovered it.
Right. Exactly.
I'll never know what that's like.
Very true.
You know?
Very true.
And that's okay. I don't know if I'm gonna be the person anyway. So.
Yeah, that part. That part.
Yeah. As I said before, and I'll say again, I love
Tangents are part of
tangents.
this show now. We've had episodes by now that you guys should know that. Tangents is just part of what we do. We try to stay scripted, but we always veer off. Wherever the conversation takes us is where we go. We sometimes find our way back, we sometimes don't. It's all right. But it's always entertaining.
Yeah. It is. It really is. There's actually two shows I want to touch on before we get out of here. One we kind of did, which was a Fresh Prince of Bel Air. Because I actually feel like more so than Living Single with Martin. There was definitely more. What I'm trying to say. I think we see more character growth in that show.
Yes.
Than the other two. Like, and not just the growth, but like the growing pains. For everyone, like we see Will coming as a inner city kid from West Philly, going back and forth with Uncle Phil, culture shock. Going from the street to living up the life that he now lives. Going to private school from public school, going to college, messing up, having to learn from those mistakes. And it wasn't just him. We see Carlton have to grab. I like how they showed kind of the dynamic between Will and Carlton. You have the street kid and the rich kid, and how both of them kind of have to reconcile that. I appreciate that as much as we see Will kind of have to shift, you see Carlton have to shift as well. I don't think you see both of those. You have to see we see Carlton, um, understand that as rich as well up as you may be, some people only see one
he
thing.
He had to learn that
the
hard way.
Had to learn the hard way. he had to learn that sometimes our own people only
Yes,
see
yes,
only see
yes. Yes.
one thing. We tried to pledge, and they said like,
Mm-hmm.
no, because you're too bougie, you're too whatever. And it's like, you're too black for some people,
Yeah,
not
it's
black enough for others. Like that's a real
absolutely
thing.
a real thing.
And having to, we see kind of the pressure that he's under to
Mm-hmm.
follow in his dad's footsteps. That wasn't
It was
explored
there.
as
Yeah.
much, but it was there. Um, we see him kind of looking down on, Will's background, upbringing in the beginning, but kind of understanding that, hey, he came from the hood or from the streets, but he's definitely more emotionally intelligent. Um, as much as we go back and forth, he's like
Right.
he does have my back, and um, I think that I again, in my opinion, I think Will was quicker to accept Carlton for who he was than Carlton was to accept Will for who he was. And again, both of them end up in the same place. But, I think Will was quicker to accept him and really accept everybody kind of as they are. Whereas with Carlton, like if you don't fit within this particular like box, I don't really
Yeah.
have much use for you. And part of that,
Mm-hmm.
and I
Mm-hmm.
think part of that is upbringing. So the parents kind of have um, some of that blame to share, but even there, we kind of explore it quickly,
Mm-hmm.
of course, because it's only a half-hour show. You
That's
gotta
right.
you gotta remember, you gotta wrap it up,
Right.
but um, can't be here all day. You gotta pay the bills, But I remember, I'm gonna I forget if it was Uncle Phil or in Viv, but basically it said sometimes we fight we fight so hard to give them what we didn't have that we
Mm-hmm.
forget to give them what we did have. Um, I, it sticks out, and I remember that because of how many
Right.
shows don't go into
Right.
that or don't get into that. Um, and it parallels real life. I think sometimes our parents are, it's not just for the wealthy or like the well off. I think wherever you fall economically or socially, like you want your kids to be better, I guess, or live a better life than you, and so you do things to try to give them everything you didn't have. But sometimes we're like, oh, this negative part or this thing that I went through actually set the stage, kind of help
That
build help
exactly.
me build to where I am. So it's like, yeah, I may not want them to go through it. They may not have to because we're here already, but I don't want to act like it never happened. I don't want, they shouldn't just think
Yeah. Yeah.
we're here. Like,
Yeah.
they should know
Yeah.
how, because like that can be just as harmful
Yeah. And I think
as
they
never
did a
even
good
getting
job
there.
at showing that. I think I said that in another episode before when we were talking about them, like how I respected the fact that they never forgot where they came from. And they also made sure that they imparted that onto all of the kids, including Will. Like, so everybody was aware that we worked hard to get here, right? So, and we appreciate where we came from and we appreciate what we have. And that's one of my favorite aspects of that show, just in general. And yes, I also do agree that there we got to see a lot more depth from characters in that show versus a lot of other shows. You did get to see people go through growing and healing, and that was different for us because a lot of the shows that we were watching just didn't explore those things again because it was always something we're going to diffuse it, we're going to divert and use some humor, we're going to throw in a laugh track here, we're going to come back full circle with it instead of really dealing with it. And I think they did a good job at taking on a lot of different topics that other shows didn't, and leaving it hanging where there was no track, right? Silence. There were several episodes, right, where they didn't hit you with any music, any track at the end, right? They left you in the moment and they let it simmer.
Yeah, because yeah, because
Right,
it wasn't
right,
funny. Like,
right. That's what I was.
Carlton getting shot wasn't
I
funny.
was gonna say. Will
I'm
getting
sorry,
shot was
Will
not
getting shot
funny. Phil
wasn't
almost
funny.
dying when he had a heart
Yeah,
attack. It's not funny.
Yeah, like Carlton
Yeah,
overdosing,
yeah,
not funny.
big one. Will's dad.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
well,
Dad abandoned
hey,
him.
that
No, I was
again
just
they
saying
were
his dad abandoning him on
sorry,
that
go ahead.
episode. That was a big one.
Yeah. I appreciate that. As much as they, you know, we use laugh tracks and we use humor to avoid emotional labor. Like there was still that understanding of, hey, this ain't the time. And I'm curious. I'll just research on my own, but I'm curious to see if any of that had to do with, like, when like Will Smith and some of the characters started becoming producers on the show. Um, I'm curious just to see if, like, when I may be wrong, but um, there's definitely a shift, as the
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
episodes went on. But again, part of that is it's because
Yeah.
people grow older and the characters grow older. Um, but going back to what you said, like, I like that they didn't shy away from a lot of things. Again, just because you know, the bankers were rich, the bankers were black. It's just a different, it's a different world.
Yeah. Shout out to the
Shout out,
world.
different world. Uh,
Another show. Another show.
shout out to y'all. Uh, it's totally different. I like that. I like that. Maybe they didn't see it this way, but I see it this way. That they didn't shy away from certain things, because it shows that, again, no matter how much money you do or you don't have, black people go through certain things, and I think a lot of us were able to relate to Will Smith and to Carlton and
Right.
to Hillary and to all of them. Um, like a lot of us were able to relate to them in a way that um, you would assume, based on stereotypes, that we would relate to Martin, or even in the single. Um, there was there was um, the I guess the baby scare, I guess, with Carlton, when
Mm-hmm.
he found out that wasn't his baby. There's like so many
Yeah.
things that actually happen in
Yeah.
real life. At least to us, like,
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
trying to put
Yep.
a baby
That
on me,
was yeah. They were dealing with real topics. Oh, I mean, all of those. Think about every episode that we
yeah,
mentioned and all the situations we just said that they went through. All of those things are things that, like, that many of us can relate to. At least one of the things that we named. And I also, so I had heard though that and I don't know if this is, I don't know when it came into play, as far as how you were saying with them being producers, because I know that Will Smith started producing or something. But I know that one scene when he was with the father,
mm-hmm.
that was not scripted. So um, that was him being emotional and raw based off of his own personal journey. And they went with it. So I don't know if that was them just giving him, doing like creative control or what, but. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I'm happy they did it. Because as I look back, I do see that there are those again, as much they avoid certain things. There are those cases where, no, we're gonna explore this. It may get wrapped up quick, but we're still gonna explore this. I like when Phil's kind of journey from lawyer to judge, into politics. That didn't go over
No,
well with Vivian.
no, no,
it,
it did not.
it did not go over well. He had to reconcile that. Uh, I like, first in Viv. Shout out to, to Janet. I believe was a teacher
Yes.
or a professor. So it wasn't just about Phil. Both of them were. excellent in their own ways. I love the. I mean, I don't know how Hillary's growth. I guess was there was some growth there. Just from relying less, I guess, on her family as well. Like the fact that she got a job and was able to kind of become
Yes,
moderately
she was.
successful in her own right. I think that was big because a lot of
Yeah.
some rich kids tend to just stay that way, but no,
Didn't a lot of that
she
happen
had to
after
learn
she
how to.
lost the fiance? Am I right about that? Okay.
Yeah,
Trevor?
she he
Okay.
made Trevor that yep. He made the
Bungee
genius
jumping?
decision to
Right?
propose while bungee jumping.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Um, Probably the one of the few times where
Yeah.
someone dying is it was
Yeah.
hilarious. Um, I'm not a big fan of black people dying in shows,
Yeah.
but this time I'm making an
Yeah.
exception. Um, but yeah, she, you know, you're right. Like I think a lot of a lot of her growth happened after the loss of her fiance. The loss of her fiance actually became uh, kind of a plot because before then she was the spoiled rich girl, the dice girl, very very shallow. You actually see
Mm-hmm.
her grieving
Mm-hmm.
after that. I mean, they tried to do some to induce some humor, but no,
Yeah, there
there
was.
there was there was some grief there. Like she didn't just bounce back and
Oh, she
next
did
week,
not.
oh,
She
it's my new
didn't.
boy.
She
Like it
didn't.
wasn't she didn't. Like she actually you can see that she actually cared about someone other than herself. And again, both of them
Yeah.
were kind of shallow. But you can see at least for her, there was some love there, and I do, looking back,
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate that they did that because I think that kind of was the catalyst to
Yep.
for her to start growing up. I mean, yeah, like before then, like the
Right.
biggest kind of thing she did was
Right.
just drop
Yeah.
out of school, you know. So yeah, she you know had her own show,
Yeah,
had
the
her own TV
daytime
show. I
TV
think at the
show.
end of
Yeah. Yes.
yeah, and I got
Yes.
picked up,
Yes.
and moved to New York. So yeah, it's like she grew. Uh, Ashley had her growth was interesting because again, I don't think she was. Well, technically, she was the baby
Oh,
until
right. Right.
Nick came,
Sometimes I forget
Nicholas
about him.
came. But
But yes.
you know, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
we all kind of forget about maybe
Yes.
little
Yes.
Nicky
Yes.
every night.
No, he was.
He wasn't around that long. And it is. I think what happened, part of it is because we see him as like a baby, and
Yeah. Then
then
there's like
the
this
newest
little
season
kid
starts, and he's
running
like five
around.
years
He's like,
old.
"Who is this kid?" You know? Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. I think you're 100% correct. Because I was trying to think in my head as you were talking, like I don't remember him being like a kid, I don't remember him growing up. You know?
Oh, he just like
Yeah.
aged
Everybody
5
else you
years over
saw,
the summer.
you
You
saw
know,
them grow up. So yeah, yeah, that's true. I
hmm
forget about him sometimes, but yes.
but I like how they poke fun at it though. Uh, and they also did they did it a few times, which again made it was a reason why that show was so great because again they didn't they maybe they didn't explain things fully,
Right.
but they also didn't run from them. Like they acknowledged that Nick morphed into this like
Yeah.
preschool, this
Yeah.
kindergartner, very briefly. And then I remember there being a bit where Jazz comes up to Will and says, "Hey, so who's mother this year?" Because again, we just the new season came, and here's
Yeah.
Daphne's
Yeah.
Daphne
All of a
Reed.
sudden, I
It's
couldn't remember her
fine.
name.
Yeah. It's interesting. Uh, shout out to those, like, shout out to them for not, just, not ignoring it. Um, I like the growth of Ashley, not so much for her, but for Philip's character, because I think more so than anyone outside of Will, probably, like, Ashley's
Mm-hmm.
growth affected him, because it's like it's like you know, I think he realizes that, like, just like, she's growing up.
The baby girl.
There's nothing that I can do to stop this. Yeah, baby girl. Um, and again, I don't know if that's a parental thing. Because again, I'm not a parent. I don't know. You'd have to tell me if like that's, you know I don't want to say like a concern, but just like this, you want to keep them at a certain
You'd like
age or a
to.
certain size for as long as you
You
can,
know, yep.
even though you
But
know
it
you
would
can't.
be
Like,
so
this
nice if you could, because
like,
yeah, yeah,
this would be
yep,
so nice. You
yep,
in your
yep.
freeze time, just have
Yeah,
this little
yeah.
4-year-old saying,
Especially
"Daddy,
being like
daddy,
your
daddy,
last
daddy,"
baby
all the
girl,
time, every
like so.
day.
Especially if that's like your last son or last daughter, there's something that goes along with that too, because it's like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, you already had Hillary, so now it's like Ashley is growing up, and once she grows up, you don't have any more little girls. It's it for you. So, yeah, yeah, she's a daddy's girl.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. But yeah, he's realizing that, yeah, she's growing up. And like, not only is she growing up, but she's intentional, more so than really anyone outside of Will, of finding her own way. And I think part of that is because, even we see it, like,
Yes.
she was influenced, I think, the most by Will. As far as, finding her own path, because Will
Mm-hmm.
kind of had to find his own path. Like, he's pretty much ripped from this world, dropped into this world,
Had to figure it out.
and had to figure it out. Uh, like, he had support, but, you know that support's already kind of entrenched where it is, and his other support is 50,000 miles away.
Yeah.
He had to figure it out. So, I think that he definitely rubbed off on Ashley, in mostly good ways. She more so than the others, pushed limits, tested boundaries. I think she's the one that,
Yeah.
snuck out more
Yep.
often. Went to parties that she shouldn't have. Carlton moved. Carlton, like, would move. I guess he moved money.
Yeah.
Ashley, like,
Yeah, she
changed
like changed
schools.
school. I mean,
Like,
she
who?
did it all.
Like,
Yeah,
who the,
it was
who
like
the fuck
she
does
just didn't
that?
care for a
She
while. She was
did.
like, I'm trying to find my way. I'm trying to grow up. She was also even pretty open in exploring her sexuality. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Very much so. Like, yeah, she went on dates and kind of learned, like you said,
Mm-hmm.
learned what she liked, what she didn't like. you know, I don't think I
No,
ever saw her settling,
no,
um,
no.
for anything or anyone. Um, yeah, I don't think she settled for anything. And I think a good example would be when she
Mm-hmm.
went to public school, just for a different experience.
Yeah.
She and Phil they went back
Yeah.
and forth over this. And I think that was when he realized, hey, she's growing up. Like, there's nothing I can do to stop it.
Not a
Um,
baby.
and this is part of it. You know? Yeah. And not only can I not stop it, I have to be open to kind of hearing her out. Doesn't mean I have to, like, she's still a kid. I don't have to do what she says, but I need to be able. I got to treat her
Right.
like a human being with a brain. You know, Particularly since, part of my
Yes.
job is to prepare her to send her out into the world
Yeah.
as a
To be independent
somewhat
and make good
functional human
decisions.
being.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't, can't just turn
Yeah.
18 and say.
Yeah.
uh, so I think he had to learn that. So I definitely like how that, that rapport developed over time.
Oh no, he
Still
did. He
got in
did.
that ass
He didn't
when he
have any
had to.
problems with that. Yeah, he didn't have any problems with that.
Hmm. And Vivian was, I think, kind of the same. Not as nowhere near as loud, but I think as scared and as angry as I think she was just as angry, just as scared for a child as Phil. But I also think that she was calmer about it because she knew where it came from. I think in her
Mm-hmm.
own way, she kind of the same way. Um, I think the first unveil was
Mm-hmm.
more conspicuous or more obvious about it. But I think they did a decent job of kind of having that connection. And
Yeah.
again, she still
Yeah.
got that ass. She had to, but I think she was a lot calmer about it. Um, she didn't just like dismiss it as her being a badass kid,
It is.
which is easy to do. Uh, I talk like I'm a parent. It's very uncomfortable because I don't like talking about things like I'm not that, but I'm just saying
Mm-hmm.
what I observe and what I think it is. But um, yeah, I just that was my take on that. And I'm just happy that the show did as good a job as it did of exploring so many different um stories and developed the character, developed the characters kind of the way they did. Each of them has their own kind of personality. They weren't all just like they didn't start the show as rich kids and end the show as rich kids. They didn't start the show as a kid from Philly and ended as a kid from Philly. They actually had to grow and
Mm-hmm.
mature and go through those growing pains from Will all the way
Yeah.
to from Will to Phil. Everyone had to grow, and we saw that it wasn't pretty all the time. It was kind of messy. Um, I think all of them had something that they had to confront or was confronted by something. Um, I remember when Phil got confronted by I guess like the activist, his
Yes.
friend that was like on the run from the
That
FBI.
had known years ago.
And it's
Mm-hmm.
like yeah, and like she said, hey, you forgot where you came from. He's
Yeah.
like, hold on, like no, like I was there, like I
That's
was
what he
there
said.
against the police. I was there doing the marches,
Mm-hmm.
but I got a felony now, so I can't do the same thing the same way. I fight in the courtroom, and I have no problem writing a big
Yeah.
ass check when I can because he let her know like yeah you showed him this side of it, but you didn't talking about Will and Carlson, but you didn't show us getting beaten and getting arrested and the consequences. You
Mm-hmm.
show them, what you see in the movies. So um, one thing I'll say about Phil is that he was very good
Yes.
about making sure that you see
Yes.
the entire story or see both sides. Um, and I think he's good at seeing that, but he got
Mm-hmm.
better at explaining it as the show went on. Because I think that's if I had a suggestion for parents, if I could put a little universal suggestion in the box for you guys, it would be to explain
Yeah.
these things to to us, so that like it's because it's kind of your job to be able to see both sides and be able to look at things and
Mm-hmm.
look
Mm-hmm.
down the road, kind of to the side, be
Right.
able to look past this thing that's right in our faces.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's
Share
helpful.
that,
It's helpful.
yeah, because it even if in the end at the end of the day you're still going to do what you want to do, you're still going to say no. For us, it helps us see, hey, there's a different way of looking at this. Like there's a different way. There's something outside of what I want. you're coming at it from this angle. The next time, something like this happens, I can look at it from that angle and be like, oh, okay.
Yeah. No,
Yes, that's my
that's a
suggestion for
good
parents. Yes,
one.
as a child of a parent. There you go.
Yeah,
As a
yeah,
child of a parent, I have that suggestion. Just some insight to the way your mind works sometimes, and how
yeah,
how you do things you do, say the thing you say. Um, you don't, it's not the same as running things by us. Not the same, not that. It's just, hey,
yeah,
this is where this can
yeah. No, I
go and
agree with you.
why. Is very, 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 very helpful.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, what else? Um, I guess maybe the only thing they didn't really get into was like just all the fat jokes. But again,
Yes,
that was like every show
yeah.
made fat jokes.
That was that. Well, because it wasn't like it is now, where you can't say those things. So that's. I mean, there were people that made their living off of, you know, being overweight. I mean, that was the whole gimmick, right? That was their whole persona. So, things were a lot different before as far as that goes. So there was always fat jokes. There was always, I want to say there was always a lot more jokes than what you can do now. Even some of the intelligence jokes that they're not going to go over so well now. Some of the wordings and the phrasings and things like that. They don't
Mm-hmm.
they don't go over like that now. So you don't hear people saying that, because now it's like, no, it's fat shaming, or it's just not considered to be proper etiquette and things. So a lot of that stuff has changed.
Yeah, I would say. See, this is. Well, let me know where you stand on this. But like, overall, I think it's good. I think it's good, but I also I also think that we gotten a little soft, um, which isn't necessarily a bad thing because we talking about soft life, and this is part of it. I just think we're still in a place where we're correcting things, and when the system that's been out of whack for a while, systems have to be corrected. Sometimes we overcorrect, but that's kind of what happens. It's because we spend so much time kind of in the red that you got to get it back. And sometimes we go over. Like we don't. We tend to think that just doing
It's
the
fixed,
opposite of whatever was done is the way
huh?
is the fix. And it's like, no, that's not always the case. Sometimes you have to do even more, but sometimes you don't have to do that. A lot of times we just tend to do the opposite without actually talking to the people who were disaffected.
Mm-hmm.
That would help. So I say all that to say, as a person, individually, a lot of them jokes don't bother me. I find it funny. Seeing outside of myself, yeah, I can see it being a problem. My wife and kids. There's a there's a couple of times where they call Junior gay. Like, oh, you're gay, and it was funny at the time, but like now it's kind of like, why? Um, like, I don't know if that to me it to me it's not appropriate. One it's not, looking back at it now, it's not funny. Um, but it's not appropriate. Um, but it I guess the reason why I'm kind of hesitating is because I feel like a lot of the reason why a lot of this thing kind of flew or was approved because the people that it affected weren't in the room when these things are being written or being looked at or being improved. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that like there was no one from uh, LGBTQIA plus. I probably got that wrong. I apologize, but no one from that community in the room when
Right.
that joke was made to say, hey, maybe this ain't the one. Uh, I don't know if all the fat jokes. I don't know if there's people in the room to say, hey, maybe this ain't it. Um, just and historically, that's kind of how it's always been. You can go as the further you go back, you see the less people, the less
Mm-hmm.
the less different people in the room. Um, all white men, and they decide what people like until until people complain enough. So I don't know. I go back and forth, but also I guess ultimately I'm going to side with the people, the communities that are affected. Like if they as a community don't find it funny, who the hell am I to say it's funny?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I think I'm kind of the same. I think I'm a little bit on the fence with it as well because I think that I definitely think that if things are being said or done and there's a certain community of people that are offended by those things, I think that we should be mindful of that, right? So and again, you can't tell that community whether or not it should be funny to them, whether or not it should be acceptable to them, right? It's because you're talking about a community that you're not identifying with most of the time, right? Most of those people are outsiders and they're not part of the community. So that's part of the problem, right? Because then you have those folks saying, you're not even one of us, right? But then you're saying or insinuating certain things. So there is that aspect of it. And then I also sometimes think, though, we might be a tiny bit too soft, as much as I hate to say it. But sometimes I'm like, maybe we're a little too soft. I love the soft life. Not, I also am very much about empowerment, right? And so, not allowing other people's thoughts and feelings, to be projected upon you, right? It doesn't matter really what somebody else says or does, right? Because just because somebody doesn't say it here doesn't mean that they don't go in that room and say it, right? So whether they say it right in front of you or they say it in the next room, it's still being said. So for me, a lot of the things is like, be mindful so that you're not putting it up on a big forum so that it seems disrespectful. But on the same token, if you are one of those people, like there's just certain things, me being a woman, me being black, me being in healthcare, there's like always certain things that I would never be surprised to hear people say, or do. And it's not going to affect my everyday life by them saying or feeling those ways. So yeah, so I'm kind of like
Mm,
always on the fence, but I always think you should be respectful of the overall feelings of the group as a whole.
yeah, that's kind of where I am. Yeah, but like I said, it that can't talk. There's
Mm-hmm.
definitely a conflict there sometimes. Particularly like when certain things get like attention, um, and it's like the people complaining aren't from the community that
Mm-hmm.
you would
Mm-hmm.
think has a problem would have a problem with it, and it's like this okay. Did we talk to the people who you say you're defending? Like, how do they feel about it? Did they say they have a problem with it?
Uh-huh.
Because I see you, like I see you, and I hear you. I hear what you're saying. Um,
Hey,
I don't see
hey.
them.
Are you
Where,
qualified?
where they at? Like, uh, are you qualified to take this
Correct.
stance, have this position, talk this talk? Um, and I'm just going to say, I typically have those
Mm.
questions for one group of people. They are the same people who conquered the world and took the spices and didn't use any of them. Uh,
Oh, yeah, yeah. That's that group.
I'm that's the group. I'm just saying
Hmm.
you don't see other communities doing
Yeah.
this. Um, but yeah, like I think you know I, um I don't know. I'm not a big believer in like cancel culture in the sense that it does what it's intended to do. Um, because again, cancel culture has been co-opted by
Mm-hmm.
certain people.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I was gonna say ruining for
Certain
a
people
lot of
ruin shit
folks.
for a
A
lot of
lot
people.
of folks.
You know, this is the topic of the episode,
Mm-hmm.
but listen, I'm not a like cancel. I'm not a big cancel culture person because
Yeah.
I don't think it does what it's supposed to do. Or rather, people say they're canceled and they're not. You're just
Right.
inconvenienced because you're getting backlash to some bullshit you said, and instead of taking accountability, apologizing, and being better, you're just you either double
Right.
down,
Right.
push back, or both. And then only when you start losing money, losing followers and influence, then we
Right.
give the half-ass apology.
Right.
I'm sorry
Right.
if you were
Right. You
offended.
got it.
Uh, and then you go then you go away for a while. Um,
Yeah.
and then you come
Yeah.
back and get a Netflix special. My favorite is when they go away for a while and go to rehab. Because my
Right.
question is, what rehab
Right.
is there for being an asshole?
Exactly.
I
We
don't.
need one of those. We need one of those.
what is what is the rehab for that? Because
I was
where I'm
gonna
from,
say, yeah, and
just take care of it for
got
free.
hands for that.
like I like that.
Hmm.
That needs to be like a
Yep.
model
Yep. We
of
got
shirt
hands for
design.
that.
We got hands for that. We got hands for that. I like that. I love it. I like it. I like it.
Hey,
I like it. You got a problem?
we got
Somebody
hands
being
for that.
racist coming to New York.
Just saying.
You got hands for that. Just saying, you got hands for that. Yeah, because they're like, again, not advocating violence. Some people have
Mm-hmm.
literally been punched in the face for saying stupid shit, and it shows. Like you don't get to say something just like gross and offensive or piss off an entire
No, you don't.
community and then just
No,
go
you
away
don't.
for a few months and it'd be okay.
Not fair. Yeah, it's not. That's not being canceled.
That's not being canceled. No, you're just
Correct.
inconvenienced by
Yeah.
accountability.
Yeah. That's it right there. That's it. That's it.
uh, but
That's
yeah.
a aha. Yep. For sure. For sure.
Yeah, you know, that's not. I'm a fun way to make that work. Are
Yeah.
you
There
canceled
you
or are you
go.
just inconvenienced by
There you
accountability?
go. That's a big one.
Yes, that is what we call in the hip hop industry
There
and
you go.
elsewhere a bar. You're
You
welcome.
didn't know we dropped those too.
You're welcome. Hey,
Yeah.
dropping bars, dropping gems. That's what we do. That's what we do here. Exactly. That's what we do. All we do, all we do here is
There
drink
you
by
go. If I had a
and
bottle
drop
of it,
bars.
you can picture it. You
Hey,
can picture it by folks. Come on.
you're gonna get that. Exactly. You're gonna get that. You gonna get that endorsement. Like, come on, buy, folks. Like, you know what
Oh,
I'll do?
there you
I'm gonna
go.
change the shirt. I'm
There
gonna
you go.
quietly buy. You
Yeah.
know, there you go. Um, I just realized that saying it
Uh-huh.
sounds different, but you get the point.
It's all
Um,
right. Might be a pause in there, but it's okay.
it's all right. It's having fun. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Like I just realized that as I said, it looks good, doesn't sound good.
It's different when you say it out loud.
Different when you say it out loud. No, this will not be edited out. So
Let's leave it. Let it breathe.
let it breathe. Let's let it breathe. Real quickly, before we get out of here, uh, kind of just the last show I want to talk about is Moesha because I actually didn't watch. I watched it at the beginning, but I just um couldn't watch it. I don't even know where like I fell off. I just stopped watching it at a certain point. But looking back on it now, I can't realize I wasn't able to identify why, but I see why now. Frank was a horrible, horrible person, and a horrible father, and a horrible husband, and just a terrible human being. He's probably in
Mm-hmm.
the running for worst TV dad ever because it's like I guess he cheated on his wife.
Mm-hmm.
Orion, I guess, is his son, not his nephew. Was horrible to D, and I think D like you know I think D is what um kind of everything you want like a stepmother to be. Looking back on that, like 'cause she really tried to treat
Mm-hmm.
Miles as her own because that's what you do when
Sure.
you marry someone with children. Unless there is some agreement
Right,
that you have
right. But
you,
that's not
you
typically
have
how it
nothing to
happens.
do with
So
these
yeah.
kids. That it is not like she treated them like they were her own. Um, for at least for like the time I watched, and I also kind of got the feeling that like it's weird in a sense that I felt like Frank leaned on Moesha for like as like a I don't know if emotional support is the right phrase, but um, like I'm trying to gather my figure out like how to describe it, but basically he kind of forced Moesha to grow up in a sense that she had to deal with
Mm-hmm.
like adult emotions from a young
Mm-hmm.
age, specifically his, and learn how to process those and navigate
Mm-hmm.
those while at the same time growing up. Um, but as a result of that, you're growing up and you're testing certain limits and boundaries because you're being exposed to certain things, and that kind of conflicted with what Frank thought his of daughter should be. But it's like you kind of treating her like an adult when it suits you, but then turn around and like
Right.
demanding the obedience of a child when it
Yeah.
doesn't. And it's like
Yes.
you kind of
Yes.
got to pick a lane.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I'm able to describe it. I don't know if that's the way I wanted to say
Yeah,
it, but that's
because
just
he
kind of how
did.
I'm
I
able
mean,
to describe it.
and the funny thing is, like, even when they, that whole, there was like a whole episode. I think the episode was like, when they talked about it with Dorian and all, I think the episode was even called like Secrets and Lies. I think that was actually like the name of it. Um,
Hmm.
and it was, I mean, yeah, I never saw the show going that way. And I want to say I stopped watching somewhere after that, shortly thereafter. But I just never saw it going that way. And when that happened, it was like, wow. It just, it just blew. There's like a preconceived notion that he was a different type of man before that. And then all of a sudden, oh, this is my son. And then when you start to think about the gravity of him saying that, right? And how it plays into you looking in your wife's face every day and not saying anything. You putting that boy there with your daughter and lying to her about who he is, and you just lying to everybody. Just so much lies and deceit and secrets and things. It's like, wow, that was devastating. I have to agree. I think I would put him probably on like the worst TV dad award, because it was just. I mean, and I know stuff like that happens. It happens to people at times. It's just, I don't know. Maybe it was the way they did it too. I don't. I can't put my finger on it. It's just, yeah, it was just terrible. I just thought the whole thing was just terrible. I don't know how else to articulate it besides that.
It probably was like definitely the fact that they did it, but yeah, I think the way they did it probably is probably why it hit the way it hit. I think the cast, at least one of the cast members, was not
Mm-hmm.
in support of like that storyline. I actually think it might have been Shirley Ralph, played D. I think she was against
Right.
that because she's like, why?
Yeah.
Like there's no need for it. Like there's nothing that
Nothing.
there's no build up to it. There's like nothing. So like,
Okay.
and
Okay.
I think that might have why she left the show. But yeah, it's like, uh, yeah,
Terrible.
it's
The whole thing was
just a
just
horrible
terrible.
human being.
Just the way it
Human
hit.
being.
It just no. Mm-mm.
Yeah, and it. I can kind of it. Unfortunately, um, I think kind of
Mm.
makes it easier to see kind of why Mauricia is the way she is. I've never rooted less for like the protagonist of a show because she's not the protagonist of that
Mm-hmm.
show. Like she's a horrible friend, not a very she's the skinny friend and then the good looking friend, I guess, but she's not a good friend. There's an episode where I think they were clowning Kim, um, Kim Parker over like her weight, and they didn't realize she was on the phone hearing this. Um, so like I know that right. That was one of the episodes where I was like, yeah, I think I'm good on on this. Because it wasn't just there. Like there was a few times where like the message was that Kim wasn't as beautiful as Moesha. Um, and again, any grown person to tell you that is not the case. You know,
Mm-hmm.
Countess Vaughn is a very beautiful woman. On the show, Kimberly Parker was a very
Mm-hmm.
well, very beautiful young woman. Um, and I think they could have did a better job of showing that. I do, respect the fact that um,
Yeah. No, she didn't.
Kim never felt that way
No,
about
she.
herself. Um, but we also see
Right.
she got
Yeah,
that
she
from
got
her
that from
mother,
mom.
Nikki Parker, who was just like, yeah.
Hmm.
And we'll let you know that the Parkers lasted longer than Moesha. Uh, funny how that works. Um, but yeah, I stopped watching Moesha while I don't know. I don't even know what season it was. Um, like I don't think she should have been with Hakeem. I think
Mm-hmm.
Q was better for her, but he's a thug. And I mean he didn't help himself. You don't go into you don't sneak into a girl's room, but um, I think that he was less of your stereotypical thug than than what people
Yeah.
thought. He wore baggy
Yeah.
clothes in a do rag, in a do rag, and he just happened to resemble the rapper from Onyx. So just happened to have a very striking resemblance to Sticky Fingers.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Hey, could happen to
Yeah.
anybody. You know,
Yeah.
you know,
Yep.
just happen to have the same
Yep.
mannerisms
Voice
and,
sound the
and walk
same
and
and
talk like
everything.
talk like.
Yeah.
Doesn't voice the same, look the
Yep.
same, kid.
Exactly.
You know, doesn't
Exactly.
make him a thug.
Don't judge a book.
Don't judge a book. Do not judge a book by its album cover, okay? Listen. Yeah, I like how there's going to be
Oh
so
yeah,
many
for
people of
sure.
a certain generation that have
For
no
sure.
idea
For
what I
sure.
just
So
said.
look it up, y'all.
Sure. They're like, what do you mean? Look it up, y'all. Oh my god. Yeah. But, I mean, say all that to say, just to wrap a bow on all of this, that, you know, healing and understanding and growth is a big part of what you and I do. And a big part of that is recognizing and understanding uh, sometimes the things that we see, watch, the way that we grew up. Um, it doesn't always, it may have gotten us to where we are. It may have served its purpose. It may have been, you know, what we needed to like survive where we were, what we were doing at the time. But it doesn't mean that things could not have been better. Um, and it's not to say that those things were bad. Just could have been better. Not every experience needs to be experienced. Not every, not every trial and tribulation has to be gone through. Life shouldn't be uh all struggle and trying to get out of somewhere. Um, and also, you know, I think that some of the things that I'm learning now about being emotionally available, understanding my own emotions, off life, um, deconstructing uh my thoughts and what I've been taught about what a man is, masculinity, and kind of what a woman is and femininity. Uh, I wish that I had learned 10, 15, 20 years ago. Learning it now, which is better than never. Some of us never get there. Seeing that, growing up is seeing that a lot of these things were in some of our favorite shows. It doesn't make them bad, just you just gotta recognize it for what it is, or what they are, and
Yeah.
grow and learn from it.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree 100%. I think that, when you think about a lot of the characters that we talked about today, you think about, a lot of the shows, we're often rewarded for toughness, but sometimes honesty shows a deeper form of strength. And it's okay, to be that way. So, I mean, I'm glad that we had those shows, and I'm glad that we can come back as adults and kind of come full circle, and and really to give you some points that where you can see where you have healed, or the things that you are unlearning, or in the ways that you've grown and things. So I think that in that aspect they serve their purpose, for us. But I have to, I still, some of them I still say, what on earth are we doing? Watching them. But hey, we're here now.
We here now. Yeah, it's like know, yeah, because we could. we could have never had them, and I don't know if we'd be better off without them. I think as I don't know, lacking is that's not the word I want to use, but that's the only one that I can think of right now. But as much as they lack certain things, they were important to the culture. It was important for us to see us on TV, for us to see
Yes.
us in realistic situations, situations that went beyond just living in the projects or crime or being up to no good. Like because every black person isn't in the hood or
Mm-hmm.
into something bad. Some of us are. Some of us do live in Bel Air. You know, some of us do live on Upper East Side. Some of us do have a nice house in Connecticut. You know, we do. So we need to show those stories and share those stories, but recognize that you know there are a lot more chapters to those stories. Like there are things that there is some struggle and some work to get there. There is some work struggle to stay there. Just because you've quote unquote made it doesn't mean the problems go away.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they follow you, sometimes they're new
True.
problems. It doesn't mean that people are going to see you, certain
This is
people
also
are going
true.
to see you any differently.
Regardless of what you do, what you have. Yes.
Yeah. But also just understanding that, yeah, we can still show fully, emotionally available, emotionally intelligent
Mm-hmm.
characters.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully we'll get there.
Yeah, but that's all
I don't
right.
know,
As long as
don't
we
know if
get
it'll be on
something.
like Fox or CBS, but
Uh-huh.
we get something. But I think we have to wonder also, like, unfortunately, I don't know if, we talk about it, but I don't know if we necessarily want those things in our entertainment. Um, I don't know. I'm not a big TV watcher. I'm not really a big movie watcher, so I don't know. There very well be maybe shows that do all these things, and I just
Yeah,
don't
if so,
know.
let us know.
If so, point them out. I would love, yeah, let us know. If so, let us know. Look at that. Shay dropping bars, man. I'm telling you.
Come on now.
Just listen. Bye. Where you
Had to tell
at?
you.
Listen. Listen. Hey, hey, man. Actually, on that note, I think we gonna wrap
Oh,
up this episode because I ain't got
we done
nothing.
gave you
I ain't got nothing
everything.
for
We
you.
gave you
Ain't got
everything.
nothing.
We
We
sure
even gave
did.
something that we didn't think of, like quietly by, like,
Yeah,
and
that's right.
we
That's
just
right. We here for
served everybody.
everybody.
So, everybody.
Oh my gosh.
Like, yo, I knew it. Like, as
Yeah.
soon as I said it, I was like, I don't know if I want to say that.
That's how. Oh, might be a pause, but
I don't like how it sounds. I don't like how it sounds.
it's cool.
Yeah, yeah, it's all right. It's all right.
We're good. Hmm.
It's cool.
They know what we
My
meant.
people know. They knew what we meant. Um, but yes, until next time, because as we do, we talk until one of us are hungry, and today it is I who was hungry. So I am going to have a nice, maybe
Oh,
a
that's
slice of
good.
pizza
I was gonna say both.
or some wings or both. Um,
Oh, it
both
definitely does.
sound like the play. But with the smart play,
Get your buy.
whatever you have some buy with it.
Get
Get your
your
buy.
buy.
Don't ask why.
Ah,
Get your
yeah.
buy. Hmm. Listen, come on with the come on.
Hit us
Come
up,
on with
bye.
the come on. Let's get this endorsement going. Hit us up. We're gonna give you like 4 plugs. Let's go.
Let's go.
Yo. Must not make this the title of the episode.
Just not the quietly. Loud and by. It works. Oh.
Yeah, it's gonna be loud and by, have different flavors, different colors. It's gonna be rainbow
That's right.
assortment. All right. So that's what it's gonna be. We don't discriminate around here.
This was fun.
So,
Yeah,
but
fun.
this was a fun episode.
For sure.
I will say.
For sure.
So we look forward to seeing y'all next week. If you like this episode, let us know. Tell us what you like. Leave us a comment, 5-star review. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast.
Tell that friend.
And as always, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell
That's
that
right.
friend to
We'll be here.
stop on by.
Come join the fun.
There you go. Stop on by. It's number 5, guys. 5. Jesus. All right. Before we turn into a 3-hour commercial. Yay. Thank you for an amazing episode, amazing conversation as always. To our listeners, thank you. As always,
We will
take
see you
your
next
seriously, and we will see you next time.